What is up, 50/50 losers and Polychrome entrepreneurs? It's your boy Mikey here, and today we'll be going over every single way you can farm Polychrome, so that way you can obtain your favorite agents on Zenless Zone Zero. Now, there is a lot more features since the launch of the game, so there are more ways to actually obtain more free summons. And today we'll be going over every single way, so that way you don't get stuck on the next limited banner and feel sad that you missed out on an agent that you particularly want. So let's jump right into it. Let's start off with the endgame content where you can obtain the most amount of free summons. First off, we got the Lost Void, which you can find when you start unlocking the endgame contents within Zenless Zone Zero. I'd also like to mention there's currently at this point 5 in-game modes to grind free Polychrome from. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, it's a lot more than what we had when the game first dropped. With that out of the way, let's talk about the Lost Void. The Lost Void is basically the simulated universe or elusive realm for you Wuthering Waves players out there. This recently just released in update 1.4 of Zenless Zone Zero, and I have to say this does not disappoint. You will gain lots of Polychrome from the license level and the exploration log, which is very nice because this game mode is actually very fun, so you will enjoy grinding it. Once named the Hollow Zero, but now newly changed name to Withering Garden, is another variation of the simulated universe in elusive realm as we mentioned before, except here relies on the most of the TV screen modes that lots of players really dislike. However, if you are grinding for a lot more gacha summons, you most likely want to spend most of your time here. I would also like to add there is a recently added, not quite sure when the update was, but they made a blitz version of the Withering Garden boss. As some newly added content for those of you who get sick and tired of the everyday TV screen mode grind. I will say the way they are executing the storytelling now in Zenless Zone Zero is a lot better than before. For the endgame content, it doesn't really bother me though. I thought it was pretty alright when it came down to this mode. But thankfully, the development team decided to split the fun and added Lost Void for those players who prefer the nostalgia and more action-packed endgame material. Here, the license level is even higher in the rewards, and honestly probably one of the highest free-to-play values you can get out of this game for gacha currency. Then under the Outpost Logistics and Exploration Collection, as you discover more and more within the Hollow Zero modes, you'll have more free Polychrome for yourself in your account. Essentially, this mode is the best to be farming your free gacha summons and the most you can get out of the game in general. Next up, we got the Mystery of Arpeggio Fault. I probably butchered that, not gonna lie. This is a TV screen endgame mode, which obviously I know most of you did not want to hear that. However, this is another way of farming that much needed Polychrome. If you can pull yourself together because you really need that next character in the limited time banner, lock in and just get it done. Maybe make a playlist of your favorite songs and just chip away at it. You get Polychrome upon clearing the stages. I personally think it is good that the development team is trying out different types of endgame content. Also wanted to mention we got a coming soon over here next to this endgame mode, which will probably be another endgame content we will get in the future. The development team is probably thinking of something to add to go hand in hand with this current endgame mode. We will just have to wait and see. Next up, we got Shiyu Defense. Now, Shiyu Defense is a hardcore endgame mode which requires you to clear a wave of enemies within a certain time period with extra stipulations. For you Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, and Wuthering Waves players, it's basically like Memory of Chaos, Spiral Abyss, or Tower of Adversity, except this is Zenless Zone Zero. Shiyu Defense requires you to have at least 6 decently built units and 2 bang boots to take on a wave of enemies. Now, for personal experience, it gets really hard, but the rewards are always worth it when it comes to getting these free summons. There's also limited time modes within the Shiyu Defense, so you can always attempt to get as far as possible to sponge up all that free gacha currency. Because once the reset hits, you will get some new challenges awaiting you. For the last but not least, for the endgame mode section, we have the Endless Tower, which other than the Lost Void is by far one of my most favorite endgame modes. Endless Tower will challenge you to bring in your best characters possible to clear floors within the tower. Also, I rate this one of the most hardcore game modes within Zenless Zone Zero because once your characters take damage, it becomes permanent, forcing you to actually memorize attack patterns and try not to take damage, or it can cost you your entire run and then you'll have to start all over. However, the grind and the difficulty is what makes it fun. There's a bunch of free Polychrome you can obtain here as well, so it's really worth it. At the 24-hour store, much like our typical gacha games, you can actually obtain free standard banner and limited banner summons every month. As mentioned earlier in this video, if you have played any of those gacha games I have mentioned earlier, then you are familiar with the structure of the shop. You have your premium currency, which you can spend on limited or standard banner summons as well. Some gamers would rather be able to save up for standard banner W engines, while other gamers would rather get extra summons to test their luck against the gacha gods. However, this is your account, to each their own. Do not use the premium currency on standard banner summons though. We will be going over different ways you can obtain free standard banner summons in the next couple parts of this video. Only use the premium currency on limited time summons and W engines, nothing else. Next up is the new Eridu City Fund, or if you want to keep it simple, you could call this your seasonal pass or your battle pass, however you guys want to refer to it as. With your typical base version of the pass, which is free to everyone, you can obtain free standard summons and free boopons. As I mentioned before, this is why you do not want to use your premium currency on the standard banner summons, as you'll be able to obtain lots of these over time. Now, of course, if you do upgrade your seasonal pass, you can obtain all those free rewards, plus limited banner summons, more boopon, and extra Polychrome. To level up this pass, you get to finish the tasks that are labeled daily, weekly, and season. Quick tip, using your energy will actually give you lots and lots of pass XP, so make sure you log in daily and do that. Which brings me into my next way you can farm free Polychrome. Starting off with the Premier section, completing these tasks will give you lots of free rewards. Among those rewards, you will receive free Polychrome and even more standard banner summons. Then if you go over to the next tab, you have your dailies. What's a very cool thing about Zenless Zenless Zone Zero is that the dailies do not take that long, and they are not very taxing if you have other gacha games you need to do dailies on, or if you simply don't want to waste too much time just farming the game. Quick tip, you can actually completely finish all your dailies just within the small radius on 6th Street, which makes this even easier to do. Now, we do got a more newest tab here called the weeklies, which comes into a bingo type of format. The goal of the weeklies is to basically just do your dailies and the small little requests and bingo spots asked for. Honestly, it realistically should only take you about 3 or 4 days to get everything out of it. On that topic of dailies, if some of you are unaware, you actually have a chance of obtaining free Polychrome from our favorite newspaper dog. So always come talk to the doggy to ensure you do not miss out on free Polychrome that you could be blessed with. Now, every single time you get a new or existing agent, you can stack them on free standard banner summons simply by improving your agent's level. However, just be careful because materials are very scarce. You do not want to break your account's resources by rushing for free summons. Remember, you can build these characters over time and you still have the end game modes that require build characters to complete, so I would prioritize the characters you actually want to build. And as I mentioned before, they have the most amount of gacha currency that you can obtain, so you definitely want to be able to build characters that will clear end game content. Speaking on the character levels, the same thing applies to obtaining free Bupon summons. Each time you obtain a new Bang Boo, same rules apply when leveling up and ascending your Bang Boos. And you can find where you can upgrade your Bang Boos over here at the Remodeling Shop in 6th Street. As you rank up your Interknot level in Zenless Zone Zero, you'll be able to obtain free rewards throughout your leveling up, which there's a lot of Polychrome, free standard banner summons, even some Bupon as well. Although obviously the higher you go, the longer it will take to actually climb up that next level, but you can actually obtain some free nice rewards here throughout your grind on this game. I have been stuck in the level 50s for a long while now, so rest in peace. While we are in the section of the Interknot, we can also talk about the side missions, which are blue exclamation points, and the limited time events, which are green missions. While you are exploring the semi-open world parts of New Eridu, there will be citizens, Bang Boos, other characters, you get the point, NPCs. You'll be able to interact with them and get through all the side missions and whatnot. If you do not care for the dialogue, you can of course just break your keyboard or controller by smashing through the text. Just be glad it's not Genshin Impact. Unfortunately, there is not a skip button when it comes to this, but at least we have it in the story mode parts of the game, for those of you who just want to jump straight into the action. Some of these commissions can simply be done by going from NPC to NPC and engaging with them, while others you will have to go into one of the hollows in order to fully complete the missions. But before we get into all that, recently in the last few patches, the development team added a quality of the life change. And this change, you could change the time of day to get through all the annoying notifications of side missions that you have yet to complete, because you and I both know we just don't want to grind it out. Which brings me into my next topic, which is the Hollow Deep Dive. Here you will basically conquer the main story of Bell and Wise, getting free Polychrome from completing the main story missions. As for the combat and exploration hollows that you see as well, you unlock these from talking to those blue exclamation points NPCs I was talking about earlier. Completing these so-called commissions will land you more free gacha currency. Also, another quality of the life change that was added a couple of patches ago, if for some reason you didn't actually obtain all the marks or goals, however you want to call them, from doing the raids, you can fortunately send Fairy in so that way you don't have to replay that side mission. I am personally happy about this because I used to get so pressed if I missed one of them, and I was thinking, yeah, I'm not doing this again, and bite the bullet on the loss. Also, for those of you who have been playing since the beginning, you can obtain a free limited banner summon for every single chapter you've completed in the main story. And much like our protagonist characters Bell and Wise, some of our favorite agents obtain their own stories so we can find out more lore about them and actually obtain more free Polychrome as well. Kind of like a TV show spin-off. If you can see what I did there with that pun because of the TV system in Zenless Zone Zero. Anyways, usually after big patches, we are able to play some agent stories to obtain more gacha currency over time. Circling back on the semi-open world exploration of Zenless Zone Zero, when you unlock a new part of the map within New Eridu, it is very important to go through every single little crevice to find these supply crates. Upon opening these supply crates, you will receive free Polychrome from these as well, similar to the semi-open world of Honkai Star Rail. Speaking of which, interacting with the citizens of New Eridu and helping them out, or even just simply helping out a depressed Bang Boo on the sidewalk, will land you some brownie points with Officer Mew Mew. Similar to the crates you can find scattered around every location, Officer Mew Mew will have more tasks for you each time a new location is added to the game, so you can complete them and obtain free Polychrome. Events will always come and go, some permanent and most of them limited time. You always want to take advantage of these limited time events, as they will always ensure that you get free Polychrome for participating and completing the events in full. If you are logging in and ever looking for events, they will always be listed under the events tab. You could also check how much time you have on these events, so make sure you're checking in periodically for new events that have been added and old events that are going to expire soon. As you guys can see in this current update that I am playing in, I am able to obtain free limited banner summons simply by logging in. From time to time, the development team will make an all new program free reward system on major patches, and this one's a major patch because the much awaited Void Hunter Miyabe just came out, and she's quite literally the most cracked character to date. So make sure you log in at least 7 times within the patch so that we can obtain a maximum of 10 free summons. Speaking of Miyabe, let's talk about your favorite agents now. As you are making your favorite teams with your favorite agents, you actually unlock a feature called Agent Trust. Here you actually can invite your favorite characters to hang out with you and fill out their trust meter. Here you can obtain free Polychrome as well as a sick menu background run of that character, and extra perks to help you with the Withering Garden. Just be careful not to diss them because they actually will take that personally. You will gain an achievement though if you mess up an agent meetup, which brings me into my next topic. As you progress through your walkthrough of Zenless Zone Zero, you will basically hit milestones. You will accumulate more Polychrome at the beginning, more when you level up and progress further. But if you are trying to get some extra PD Polychrome, you can always check back to this tab to see if you are close to hitting that next milestone for extra free Polychrome. Also, circling back to the agents, we could talk about agent demos. Whenever a new limited banner character comes out, or you could just go through the standard banner options, you can actually obtain free Polychrome for every standard banner agent's demo. And of course, when a new limited banner character comes out, you could obtain free Polychrome from them too. So make sure you do the trial run on every single standard banner character, and when a limited banner character drops, make sure you do their trial run as well. Next up, we got the arcade in Zenless Zone Zero, which is still a pretty cool little extra feature they added in this game. Here you can play mini games like Snake, for example, and conquer achievements to get extra Polychrome. They also in the recent patches added a lot more mini games, and I am sure as we progress we will get more. So always check back here when a new big patch hits. Speaking of which, you probably might want to follow Zenless Zone Zero's official accounts, or at least pay attention before a major patch, because they will live stream, and every single time they do, they always have free redemption codes on the live stream so you can obtain free Polychrome. Which, by the way, if you haven't joined my Discord, it's pinned in the comment section down below. There you will find fellow gamers who will most likely post a code under the Zenless Zone Zero category, and other games that you may play. Trust me, it's chill here, so join up. Moving on and talking about the topic of big patches. Every single time a Zenless Zone Zero has downtime, the development team will always reimburse you with free Polychrome. And the reason why they do this is because they feel bad for putting the game down, as it is a live service game and they want to reimburse you for the time of the game being down when you could be grinding your account. Also, if there's any bugs that are reported or something that isn't really supposed to be in the game that hinders the experience, because these kinds of things happen, you will most likely get free Polychrome from your mail. There's also some free extra Polychrome you can obtain during free training. Here you can practice with your favorite agents to learn combos, worker rotations, or whatever it is that you need to learn. In the Proxy Handbook, for every new discovery, you can gain a singular Polychrome, which is maybe the worst way. That's why it's so far down this list. Hey, but what a wise man said, every cent counts. I mean, Polychrome. At times, the development team will release some extra challenges for you to showcase your talents on their main social media accounts for you to compete in to get a shot at winning extra Polychrome. This is more of a chance thing of happening, but if you want to try your luck, you can simply do this by keeping up with their social medias. I would say mainly X or old Twitter would be the best for this, so if you want to do that, feel free to do so. While making this video, I actually found out there's one more endgame mode that we missed out on, which makes a total of 6. This endgame mode is called Deadly Assault, and it is actually a hardcore endgame mode which requires 3 of your best units, or your best team, however you want to look at it, to take on a boss that has an absolute absurd amount of health, and you have to gain a certain score within a certain time limit. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I really like how the development team is trying to include lots of in-game content material for us to gain free Polychrome from. For the last way that you could absolutely obtain Polychrome on Zenless Zone Zero is the daily check-in. All you have to do is make a Hoyolab account, and of course this is 100% safe. Which, by the way, quick note, if you do make this, you can do this on Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, and I'm pretty sure any Hoyo game, where they all have daily check-in rewards. Well guys, if you made it to the end of this video, subscribe for extra luck on your next summons. Comment down below which 50/50 you lost and sent you here to my video. Thank you for watching. Peace out.